Good to see you. I was kind of surprised to see you here.
Good to see you, Jeff.
It's been a few years, I guess, since we first worked together on a T-Mobile project, which was a lot of fun. It was quite an adventure, fast and furious project, and your team did a stellar job. And so I again want to publicly thank you on that. You know, that was a really important project for me personally and T-Mobile, and you guys really helped us out. So
I appreciate that, and likewise, it's nice for you to entrust us, and the whole process was wonderful working with you.
Yes.
So it gave us a chance to apply some creativity and bring forward that e-learning module.
Yeah, it was good stuff and a success story for us. So what have you been doing since then? I know you really specialize on highly interactive e-learning pieces, and you've been telling me about some cool things. Tell me a little bit about those.
Sure. So we are kind of an e-learning services company, but our specialty is in the simulation or the tooling type of space. So by simulations, I mean like training experiences. Some of the work we do with Honeywell, what have you, might be for cockpit instrumentation, bringing those to life to train pilots. We also do the same thing for troubleshooting, so we'll go on the other side and where you have engines, repair, overhaul, troubleshooting those, CAD drawings, rotating things around, being able to remove and replace parts, adding gaming aspects to it so that if you are troubleshooting, you're using pieces of test equipment. As you take a cover off, there's a certain time and cost component to that. If you replace a component, there's certainly times cost for that spare, and whether you got it right or wrong. So we're creating a tally of your performance in that objective.
Excellent. It seems like an important piece in the e-learning. Well, a lot of times we think about your basic e-learning courses, and then we have the Captivate software simulations and things like that. But there's this real kind of higher end, immersive learning pieces that sounds like that you've been working on.
It's a specialty area. Tools that you buy off the shelf won't let you do the type of interactivity that we're doing, and it takes a little bit of my background's in flight simulation, so I have I know how big things work. So fortunately, in my career, I've been able to downsize them on somebody else's nickel and work in various career positions. So we're able to bring that to the desktop, and then these days everything has to play over the web. So we're doing things that either play client side or a very thin client, and putting the simulation off on a server on the internet side.
Excellent. So tell me about what you did for the New York Fire.
Okay, that's interesting. So as a small business, we qualify for a Small Business Innovative Research Grant. So several years ago after 9/11, we partnered with Federation of American Scientists in Washington, and we developed an incident command training platform that was used by New York Fire Department. And when they have a large high-rise fire, they typically set up camp in a lobby. The incident commander does, and he manages resources that are going up the stairs, fighting the fire, rescuing occupants, things like that. So their interaction is through radio communications. They'll dispatch a team, they'll call dispatch and have new people show up. They're all fighting fire, rescuing, they're getting radio transmissions back in, and they need to keep through the fog of war effectively, keep a coherent game plan of what's going on, who haven't they heard from in the last 10, 15 minutes, where somebody is, they should be here by now. If they get a radio transmission that someone's being rescued, are they backfilling and bringing something up there? So it's a kind of we've taken that, and we've received a second round of funding through the National Institute of Health, who was interested in the first responder who would show up and see a chemical spill or God forbid, a WMD or a chlorine tanker, and it's spilling gas or what have it. You have to identify it, what it's spilling. It might be impacting a couple, 3, 4, 5 square miles, so they have to evacuate. So it's that first responder's action. What do they see? What actions do they take? And who's downwind from this? What's getting spilled into the river or the sewer? So it's protect life.
Very complex. Sounds like it would be not a job I would like to have. But I think the importance in a simulation like that is pretty obvious. I mean, it's a potentially dangerous situation. High stress, right?
Right.
And there's no way to prepare for that. I mean, you just don't put them out in the field and just give it a shot, right?
That's where they have a lot of problems. Is how do you gain the experience level? these things don't happen every day. And when they do train for it now, their alternative was to have a group of people in the room role-playing and working with you. So we were able to recreate that kind of experience for the single player, for that incident commander. It's very similar to the concept if you had a chess simulator. It's pretty sophisticated with all possible chess moves that you would have. But if you practice your chess playing by yourself, your skills will advance, your cognitive skills will improve, and you'll be just that much fresher for the next game
Right.
that you're going to play. So that's what we've tried to bring to life for that domain of problem.
It eliminates some of the risk, probably, huh?
Yeah, right. And actually, they'll respond. They'll have those reference markers in their head of how to respond with it, think through in an environment where, where fake people die.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's not as stressful when the avatar dies, right? But you see that consequences of making the wrong decision, which is part of learning.
Correct. And then that's always the compliance part of it. So what we do, keep a scorecard, unlike a point score, but we actually generate a point score, but it's given this context of you heard this radio message, what action did you take? So we can go and look up policies and procedures and reference that out. Given the fact that you saw this chemical placard, you should have evacuated within 3 miles. Did you do that or not within so much time? And we can generate a transcript. And it's irrefutable that you did something correct or incorrect. It's pretty good for the for the student to self-assess themselves and actually for where we're going in the future for certification.
It's kind of critical learning, right?
Absolutely important.
That sounds really interesting stuff. Tell me a little bit about that, like the technologies that you use to create this.
Absolutely.
There's definitely discussions in the mobile space, which I'm in, about Flash and HTML5 and all these technologies.
Right.
How are you, shaping what you do technology-wise to kind of match?
Our clients are pushing us to work on mobile devices and pads, so we have to address that. So we are working on ways right now with the simulator being server-based and the client. Currently, right now, it's Flash or Flex. And what drove us to that, actually, it was we needed to capture the microphone for voice recognition. HTML5 isn't there.
Right.
And, we had to deliver. So
you need a native application
we
or
needed something that was going to be acceptable. There's other Microsoft technologies, Silverlight and what have you, that would get a microphone stream out, but they don't require a plugin or an executable locally to compress the voice stream.
Wow.
So having that requirement, we chose Flash because it was pretty ubiquitous. Everybody had it at that point in time. But right now we're building tool sets that will go into HTML5. So it's just like everybody else. We're skipping the native application development, although we have done a little bit with Android phones and near-field communications. It's something that would require actually the hardware device. But everything else, we're just trying to figure out how to go to the lowest common denominator, but still give a rich experience.
Excellent. Well, it's interesting talking to hear about what you're doing. It sounds like you're doing more great stuff. So keep doing it. I want to see some of the Demo Fest. You're going to demo some of what you're working on. All right. I'm going to come in, and if it's good,
all right.
I'll vote for you. But
I don't want you to vote for me if it sucks.
I won't. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for the opportunity.